Here is question number 6 on linear relations, where we are trying to explore ax plus by equals to c type of equation. The question is, quarters and nickels are sold in rolls of 40. If you have $2.50, then what combination of quarter and nickel rolls can be purchased? So read this question carefully and try to understand. So what we are saying here is that quarters, that is 25 cents, and nickels, which are 5 cents each, are sold in rolls of 40, right? So if you go to the bank and buy them, then we get the rolls of these, right? And in each roll, there are 40 of each kind, right? That is what we are trying to say. So if you have $250, then what combination of quarter and nickel rolls can be purchased? So that's the question. Part A is write an equation to represent the situation. And part B is find the number of rolls of nickels if the 12 rolls of quarter are purchased. So that is part B. So let's try to analyze and do the problem. Well, first part is, when we say that quarters and nickels are sold in rolls of 40 each, then how much amount is there in 40 rolls? So first thing we have to work out. So here we need to figure out that a roll of 40 means what? So if we have quarters, that means 25 cents, right? So 40 times 0.25 will give us, one roll will give us how much of money, right? So let's do 40 times 0.25, which is quarter of 40. And that gives us $10. That means one roll of quarters is equal to $10. Do you understand? One roll which has 40 quarters is equivalent to $10, right? That's the value. Now let's do the same calculation for nickels. So this is for quarters. For nickels, each nickel, so we got 40 of nickels, and each nickel is 5 cents, correct? So 5 cents is 1/5 of this, so it's $2, or you do 40 times 0.05, so you get $2, and that is for nickels, right? So what we understand here is that each roll of quarter is equal to $10, and each roll of nickel is $2, correct? Now let's define our variables. And the variable is Q for quarters and N for nickels. So Q is number of rolls for quarters and N is number of rolls for nickels, right? Now we need to find the equation. So how to write the equation? Equation is, we want total of $250. If we have Q rolls of quarters, then the amount in quarters will be 10 times Q, right? So we have 10 times Q plus. If we have N rolls of nickels, then the amount per roll is $2, and so the total amount will be 2 times N, and that should be equal to $250. Do you understand? That is how we get our equation, correct? So again, Q is number of rolls of quarters and N is number of rolls of nickels. Each roll of quarter has 40 quarters, and therefore it amounts to $10 each. So if we have Q rolls, then the total amount is 10 times Q. Similarly, if we have N nickels, then amount contained will be 2 times N, since one roll of nickel having 40 nickels will be equivalent to $2. So that is how we get our equation. So this represents the situation. Now part B is find number of rolls of nickel if 12 rolls of quarters are purchased. So we are given here Q equals to 12. We'll substitute q equals to 12 and find what n is. So we say 10 times q is 12, so write 12 plus 2 times n equals to 250. So that gives us 120 plus 2 times n equals to 250. So reorganize, we get 2n equals to 250 minus 120, and that will be, n will be equals to, this is how much? You can calculate. So it is 0 take away 0 is 0, 5, you have to take away 2, you get 3, and 2 take away 1 is 1. That is 2 times n. So n is, when you divide this by 2, and 130 divided by 2 will give you, 2 goes 6 times, 12, and then 10 means 5. So the number of nickels will be equal to 65. So that is how you can calculate the number of nickels. If you want, you can check this with the given equation. So if I write 10 times 12, what do I get? 10 times 12 plus 2 times 65. 2 times 65 equals to what? So we can use a calculator or add them up. It is 120 plus 2 times 65, then 130. And when you add them, you get 250. That's the correct amount. Correct? So that is how we do such problems. I hope you understand and appreciate how we have done this question, right? This is kind of tricky problem since we have to work out and calculate what amount is contained in one roll of quarter and in one roll of nickel to start with. I would like you to do this question on your own, defining variables. First saying that let q be the quarter rolls and let n be the number of nickel rolls, and then find amount for each. Each roll of quarter will be equivalent to 40 times 0.25, $10. Each roll of nickel will be equivalent to 40 times 0.05 equals to $2. Then you write down your equation. Since every roll is equal to $10 for a quarter and $2 for a nickel, total amount is 10q plus 2n equals to 250. That is given to us. Correct? So that is how you will start, and then do part B by substituting what is given and isolating and then simplifying to get the answer. I hope you get it. Thank you and all the best.